You are listening to Electric TV Radio. We dare to lead. This is radio like you never heard before. Electric TV Radio, the pathfinder for radio.
Feeling good. All right, guys, good evening and welcome to the Night Wheels on Electric TV Radio. My name is Daffy Matthew. So I'm going to promise to say it's a debt and you have to pay your debt. So I'm going to promise that we're going to have a night show, and we experimented it on my trip to Abuja with the diary, and that's exactly what we're going to have on the night was. So every night when we have this show, the show is called the Night Wars. On the Night Wars is different. So on Instagram, I would allow anyone who wants to join in, but your network have to be good. You have to be audible. You have to also be away from noise, so you can't be in a noisy place. For those of you on the Instagram, if you can hear me, please comment to let me know that you can hear me. And those of you on YouTube, if you can hear me as well, just drop a comment to let me know that you can hear me so loud and clear, so that we get going. Okay, this is what I've always worried myself about, that there's not going to be audio on the YouTube if I connect this cable. On the Instagram, I'm sure there is sound now. I'm sure you guys are having the sound now on IG. I'm worried about that. I wanted to connect it and make the sound clean, but obviously now I'm going to have to depend on. I don't know. Are you guys? Do you have sound now? Let me know if you have sound, so I know where we stand. Instagram should have sound, but I think YouTube should be clean. The sound on YouTube should be very very clean. Having said that, if you want to join in and you know that your sound, wherever you are, there is no noise, I can let you join in. But remember, and I can't keep you for long. So you make your contribution. Excuse me. You make your contribution, and then I let you go. Pending one will find out why we can't connect the cords, and you guys will hear me. We'll have to make do with that one. For the guys on YouTube, unfortunately, YouTube does not allow you to like connect people, bring other people via the video. So what we can do is make use of the comment section very well. Now, something we should avoid is too much greetings. I'm just setting the ground rules. Okay, it's a 1 hour show. Let's not spend the whole time putting greetings and hailings and all that. You can do your banter, but we must stay focused. It's not like the morning anyway where there is so many talking points. We eventually will get there when the season starts because it's going to be an everyday thing. So today we're going to focus on the Super Eagles. Two games, the game on Friday and the game tonight. The two games have the same score line, but two different winning teams. Okay, so they won out in Abuja and we won them in Bissau. But then we're going to try as much as possible to analyze the game, look at it. As much as it is okay to blame people, I've always said that we've grown to the stage now where a football conversation should not be built around just blaming people, finding fault. Okay, this person is bad, this person is bad. I'm going to try my best to moderate it in such a way that we don't have to insult ourselves and we also don't have to insult people. Okay, we can actually. It was my big bros, Barisa Paul Musa, who said, "You can disagree with people and not lose their respect." So we can try that in the conversation because a lot. I would really like Omar Katuba to join me on the Instagram live, and then I'm sure you guys will hear him. I keep him close to the microphone enough so that his voice will be on the mic as well, and we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to fix all that. So, like I was saying, we can disagree. We can disagree with people's position, but you see that thing that people do on Twitter and on Instagram, because you disagree with somebody means that you have to insult the person. It's not going to be allowed here. Because you disagree with somebody or because you support a club that is different from somebody's club doesn't necessarily mean you should insult them. Like I've always said, two truths or 10 truths can stand side by side and everybody is speaking the truth. The focus today is the Super Eagles game, the game on Friday and the game today. What is your take on the game? What did you see in that game? What did we do right on Friday and what did we do wrong? The way I look at football, no matter how bad the result, you can lose 10-0 and as an analyst, I can still tell you, oh, but this team, this was something that was right about them. And then this is what is wrong about them. If they can build on this, they can be better. And then you can also win a match and somebody can still punch a hole in the winning team and say, okay, yes, they won, but it was more because the other team was not good, not necessarily because this team was good. Okay, so we can have a conversation. And I'm trying my best to say, let's make it as matured as possible. So if you feel like you want to say something on Instagram, indicate it is free for everyone, but you cannot stay long, right? So you stay a little bit, you say whatever you want to say, I'll let you go. So don't make it all those personal, hey, how you there, how your family, all that, cut it off. Let's go straight to the conversation. The two games I will focus on is the Super Eagles game on Friday and the Super Eagles games today. So let's start with the selection. Yeah, let's start with the selection, the team sheet for Friday, and then I'll come to the team sheet for today. So let's do the starting 11 first for Friday. So this is the starting 11. Let me make it a bit big on my screen. Okay, I'm sorry you can't see it, but we started with Francis Uzor wearing jersey number 23. Zaidu Sanusi was on left fullback. Kevin Bassi and Kevin Akpoguma were 5 and 6, jersey number 21 and jersey number 5. Osai Bright Samuel was on the right fullback wearing jersey number 2. Across the midfield is Ademola Lookman. Wilfred Ndidi was the captain of the day and was eventually substituted just as Akpoguma was substituted due to injury. And then you have Alex Iwobi and Samuel Chukwueze. Up front was Osime and Kelechi Iheanacho for the first 45 minutes. The second half was substituted. Nigeria played a flat out 4-4-2 on the screen, but actually in the stadium it was 4-2-4 because Lookman and Chukwueze were more on the offensive up front attacking than supporting the midfield. So it was a 4-2-4. The last time Nigeria ever played a 4-2-4 system was under Clement Vesterhoff, where you have the back line four of Ben Iroha, Iguaivon, Stephen Keshi, or whoever is pairing with, or Uche Kuchukwu and Uche Okafor or Chiliwanu, and then you have Olise and Okocha, and then you have the guys up front, maybe Amunike or whoever, and then Yakini, Sasia, or Amokachi, and then Finidi George. While the Kenyans played a 4-2-3-1 formation, and Baldi, the goal scorer, was jersey number 7 was a terror for us. So let's pick this team out a little bit. And I would like, if you saw the game on Friday, I would like to hear your take. But I'm going to give my take. I'd like to hear your take. And this is where, if you have a comment, put it on Instagram. If you have a comment, put it on YouTube. We'll take it from there. And then we'll grow into the conversation. And then I'll bring the team list for today. So it's not just, that is showing is I too know here, but it's every one of us participating. And so that the comment does not pile up and then we're struggling for time because time went to no one. But, as it is right now, we're almost 10 minutes gone already just explaining the process of the show. So let's take it fast. Actions on Instagram said today they kept the ball better than Friday and didn't give the opposition time to build confidence so much to improve. It's good sign they can build with. All right, let me go to YouTube. Here's a Patrick. Good evening, boss. Good evening to you. Let's keep the greetings very, very low to the barest minimum. Let's focus on contribution. Noel Turin said that loud and clear, and then say nice one. And then additional John said that loud and clear. Ugochukwu Wanchinemelu, bro, how you doing? Thank you for driving me around in Abuja. Thank you for being my support system. Thank you for being part of my Elevator TV family Instagram group. And also thank you that every time I come to Abuja, you are always there to carry my bags, to help me, make it easy for me going around different places that I'm going. God bless you and bless your family as well and prosper whatever it is you do. So Uwachinemelu Ugochukwu said, that's Stanley, for those of you who don't know. He said, yes, I can hear you loud and clear from YouTube. Right, Ibrahim Abiola, which is Ibrahim from Ikorodu, he said, I don't know, come on for Instagram or I don't come YouTube now. All right. Eze Patrick said, another poor performance from the Super Eagles. Despite the win, I am disappointed in a way. Don't know why they can't play good. Anyways, we are going to the Nations Cup, so we have time to sort things out. Okay. Michael Eleta have this to say. He said, I am ashamed to admit we need Ogana carry a table in that midfield. That shows how bad our midfield is right now. I can't phantom it will be playing in midfield. Well, we won. So 3 points gotten today. As Patrick said, Osimhen has scored a lot of headers at Napoli, but in the Super Eagles, the crosses most times are not on point. The play from the back to midfield is usually good, but after that is bad connecting with the attack. And then as Patrick wanted to say, Shai Samuel Bright is my revelation in the team. Michael later went on to say, Friday match to me was a write-off. Okay, Samuel Chukwueze has to be talked to. In both legs, he wasted glorious chances by skying the ball when passing to Osimhen was a better deal. Leeds AJ Ward, he said the back was solid, but the problem is the midfield. All right, let me come to Instagram and see what you guys have got to say on Instagram. Right, 69 Lema said today's game was better than the first one. They showed purpose with the ball going forward. They showed purpose with the ball going forward. We could have scored more, but glad we got the win. And then, like Toby said, is it just me or I think Osimhen was complaining too much? No, it's not just you, even me. First game, second game, he had his chances and he didn't use them. Maybe I had high hopes and he was doing his best. Okay, but I think he was complaining too much. That's a part of his game that he needs to work on. If he goes to the Premier League and does that, the journalists will pick on it. It's becoming a bit too petulant, in my own opinion. Everybody loves Osimhen. I mean, I can't remember the last time that a whole stadium is singing the player's name the way they sang Osimhen. Everybody loves Osimhen, but then there are some part of his game that he needs to cut off, and he needs to rather communicate with his teammate, because it seems like the players are not friends. This is my opinion anyway. It seems like on the field they are not friends because somehow they just kind of like, I don't want you to shine. I don't, go and play. That's the way it feels like. Achille says Chukwueze should be more selfless, like he is in Villarreal. It was mostly selfish, both legs, and the frustration show by Osimhen, both legs. Shai Samuel played like he has been with the team for long, right? Let me take it from Instagram, from YouTube, and then I'll explain the first game on Friday, my opinion. Okay, Damola Ibrahim Abiola says, that's Ibrahim from Ikorodu. He said, I think we'll play better. Chukwueze and Simon should not be starting for us. Both crossing and shooting, they are very poor. And I wanted to say, Shai Samuel, Iwobi, and Omero did very well today. Okay, not forgetting Onyeka too. Noah Turin, he said they reacted today, but I think Osimhen needs to look at that side of his game, complaining to the point that I could tell from the body language of the other players that there is some friction there. And then Demola Ibrahim Abiadu say our wingers are playing individual rather than playing with the team. As a Patrick said, some said to me, someone, maybe that's what I wanted to say. Someone said to me that the players lack discipline, hence the lackadaisical attitude. I don't know what to say because they should know the joy football brings to Nigeria. They should know. No, Anthony said some players clearly showed Osimhen that they don't appreciate Osimhen's attitude at the moment. I think that's a problem we need to nip in the bud. Yeah, I agree with you. So let's go to my position with the team. So let's start with the team that started. Well, before the game started, I was always throwing back. The way I look at football is stick to what works for you. Anything that works for you, stick with it. So when we played against Satome and Principe and we won 10 goals to nothing, the pairing of Osimhen and Teremofin produced 6 goals out of the 10. 4 for Osimhen, 2 for Teremofin. And they just, I think that they were having their first game together competitively. I felt that the coach would continue, especially watching them in training train together. I felt it was going to continue that. Again, they didn't train all through the period. So sometimes, let's be fair, sometimes coaches will say, okay, you have enough. I'm not going to stretch you too much because I'm keeping you on ice for the game. So it was being massaged, treated by the doctors. I was in Abuja, this is what I saw. And we expected that maybe he wasn't going to start. Maybe Oyeka would start and then later he could come in. But then he started. Now, my problem with that team in the combination play between Indidi and Iwobi was the fact that the link man who was supposed to be walking and dropping them, because I think that tactically the reason why he played Iheanacho was feeling like, okay, Elechi Iheanacho could do the kind of one thing of dropping to the midfield and adding one more body to the midfield. And then when we're going forward, he add body to Osimhen, who he could play a true pass the same way Alex Iwobi could play a true pass, and also make it look like he is the top of the triangle in midfield. So we now have a 3-man up front of Chukwueze, Osimhen, and Lookman. When we are out of possession, out of the ball, it drops down to the midfield and crowd it. But Iheanacho, being who he is, didn't even bother. He played like, well, this is not even a football match. He's not interested. These guys are not his teammates. He doesn't know them. He doesn't care. He was a chairman. Everybody that got to him, except one, he turned up possession to the opposition. And that was crazy as far as I'm concerned, because if you talk about talent, I don't think that there's anybody on this team that have the kind of talent that Kelechi Iheanacho had. Whether it's ball control, whether it's ability to dribble, whether it's ability to move, ability to shoot with his brilliant left foot. But unfortunately, he didn't deliver on that. Hence, the coach had to yank him off from the dressing room. And then looking at Ademola Lookman, I think that, it would be preposterous and ridiculous if the coach had invited Lookman from what was seen him play for Atalanta, and not playing him or starting him in this game. So starting him was fine. 13 goals this season or so with assists to go with it. Samuel Chukwueze has got 11 goals and 11 assists for Villarreal. Samuel Chukwueze is practically having his best season, in Europe this season. He's gotten over his injury issues and everything. Seems like, okay, he's the go-to guy. So this is where I look at the coach and I say, I really can't blame you for that selection. Yeah, you could have played Teremofin ahead of Kelechi Iheanacho, but I'm helping him to think. I thought, okay, he put that man there so that just in case we need one more body in the midfield, Teremofin is an out-and-out striker, but Kelechi Iheanacho can actually do the zip liner, the give and go. So he goes up and then he comes down, helping the midfield. But then Kelechi Iheanacho decided to say, you know what, I'm going to betray the whole team. I'm going to do my own thing. Then Samuel Chukwueze, being a player who's in form as well as Lookman, it felt like it was going to be an easy thing for the two of them to create enough chances for Victor Osimhen. But unfortunately, Samuel Chukwueze, industry and effort, but no final product. Lookman doesn't even have the industry of the effort in this game. Does that make Lookman a bad player? No. But I'll say this and say it again and again. Lookman, since he came into the Super Eagles, have really not played to justify the whole noise about, if you don't invite Lookman, the world will end. It's not done well. And it's made one of the worst players of the Super Eagles look like nobody can bench him. And when I say one of the worst players, I don't hate the player, but I have been saying this for a very long time. People don't like me for saying it. I know I've made enemies because of him. Moses Simon. I think that no matter what happens, there is no way. Moses Simon does not have a business in the Super Eagles. I'm not saying it because I hate him. I like him. We shake hands, we hug, we laugh. But when it comes to playing, I was a wide man in my day. I can tell you, I have a ball in the studio. I can tell you for free. I know how to pick the ball, and the ball will come to the middle of the 18-yard box. I know how to pick the ball. It will go to somebody in the first post. I know how to pick the ball because we watch Finidi do this. We watch Wim Jong. We watch David Beckham. We watch some of the great white players do this. So you know what to do when it comes to crossing the ball and hitting the ball. Moses Simon over and over and over and over and again. And I have people who argue that, but he has assisted a lot of goals. The reason why that is because in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is the king. And this guy has played enough matches to assist. But you see, Moses Simon is like every other Nigerian politician. A Nigerian politician would do a road that would cost $500 million anywhere in the world with $50 billion or $500 billion. And instead of looking at it like, how can you spend the money meant for 200 or 2,000 roads for just one road? You say, what are the people where they do? And so they are justified by a group of mediocres and failures, not necessarily by the effort of standard and quality. So somebody like Moses Simon is justified by the mediocre performance that people like Emmanuel Dennis, Ademola Lookman, Tamachukwueze, and every other person of his own generation have put up. The other day I was having a conversation with someone. I said, if you're going to pick up the all-time greats, wide men for the Super Eagles, would you ever pick Moses Simon as one of them? And he paused. He couldn't say yes because he knew he would be lying. But he's a diehard believer of Moses Simon. And so that's my problem with Moses Simon. And the way Pesero, even Ganatra wants to play, and Eguavon wants to play, is that the team clicks if the white man clicks. That's just the truth of the matter. The team is a great team if the white men just manage to click. But unfortunately, our white men are not clicking. Our white men are making a coach do a good selection and make them look bad. That's exactly what happened. Now let's go to the center back. First off, in defense, a team is confident when you know that your goalkeeper is good. So let's use Arsenal as an example. Remember when Ben Leno was Arsenal's goalkeeper, right? Guys, give me a minute to change the face of the light, okay? Yeah, sorry guys. So like I was saying, you look at that becomes the very biggest problem, the Abinger to whatever tactics the coaches are applying. Whether he wants to play 4-4-2, a 4-3-3, a whatever formation they want to play. The Super Eagles, based on the players that you have, because no matter how much of a coach you have, you're going to play to the strength of the players that you have. Super Eagles in the last, between 2014 or 2015, from when Mikel Obi decided to retire, Super Eagles have not really had a midfielder. And there's nothing the coaches can do. They are not going to go buy a player. Sorry, in a minute. So they're not going to go buy a player like you have with Man City, Arsenal, like you have on club side. You're going to make use of the players that you have. And most time we've heard people say words like, oh, after all the world-class players in Nigeria does not have world-class players. Probably one or two. Nigeria does not have world-class players. And at national team, this is one thing everybody needs to take home. National team does not really need world-class player. What a national team need is a group of players that are bonded together and have found a reason to win games together. Come what may, they are willing to play for each other. So let me give you a very good example. When Greece won the Euro in 2004, it wasn't because they had world-class players, but because they had players who were willing to run and die for each other. The team that France took to the World Cup in 2002 is 10 times, 100 times, a million times better than the team that won the World Cup in 1998. But you see, the difference was it was a galaxy of world-class players. France took the highest goal scorer in 3 of the major top 5 leagues in the world. Thierry Henry was the top goal scorer in England. David Trezeguet was the highest goal scorer in Italy. And Djibril Cissé was the top goal scorer in France. But that thing changed one factor. These guys were playing for themselves, and they didn't have the glue. The leader, Didier Deschamps, had left the team as a midfielder. Who he was the glue, the glue between the defense and the midfield in his time. And then Zidane was the link between midfield and attack. Zidane didn't go to that World Cup. So even though they had stars, superstars, big name players, like we have here in this squad now, so Kelechi Iheanacho is playing for Leicester City. He's won the FA Cup with Leicester. He's played. He's got the unenviable title of having scored every, how do they call it now? Every day of the week. The only player with that record. Yes, that's a fantastic record. Nobody's going to argue against that. But you said the thing about football. Yesterday's record does not buy you today's results. It's one of those things that you know. If not, teams like Guinea Bissau should never, ever be coming to Nigeria to win. But that's yesterday's record. Nigeria used to beat Burkina Faso 7-1, beat Cote d'Ivoire in Nigeria 4-1, beat South Africa 4-0. That was yesterday. That's not today. Today, Nigeria have a group of players who have names who kind of like play very well wherever it is they're playing. But the opposition know that they are not bonded together as a team. And so that's the problem. Again, we played a defensive pair that is playing together for the very first time in a competitive game. When you want to play a team like that, one of the things you pray for is that may I have a midfield that can hold it together for them. Unfortunately, the Iwobi combination in that midfield was more or less what Chino Achebe wrote in his book. Things are falling apart, and the centers cannot hold. The center in that midfield was not holding at all. I was expecting that the white men would be invited a bit to support them. That didn't happen. So Zaidu Sanusi could not do a João Cancelo or a Zinchenko, because even the two centre-back were not just even giving themselves enough depth and space, lack of understanding, one ball beating the two of them, plus the goalkeeper, who doesn't inspire confidence at all. So when I made that tweet that says 80% of the players in the team have no business in the team, this is my take. So let's do the rating from Friday. Victor Osimhen, as world-class, as awesome, as amazing as he is, was the only guy who was fighting, but still, I'll rate him 6/10 because it was nagging too much. He was complaining. At some point, you get pissed off. I mean, I play football. If I play with somebody like Victor Osimhen, the way he was complaining, I obviously let him know that, okay, I'm not going to pass ball, give you, do your worst. If you get your own to not pass to me, there's nothing's going to change. Because I don't understand what you're trying to prove. Are you trying to prove that you're the only one playing the ball and then we're not playing? Okay, if you're the only one playing the ball, go get the ball from the back and then go and score. That's one. Kelechi Iheanacho, I'm not sure I've ever rated a player 0/10 before. But Kelechi Iheanacho gets my nod for the first player I would ever rate 0/10 because it was a liability, it was a burden, it was completely useless to the team. Not a useless human being, but on Friday, it was useless to the team. Ademola Lookman, for attempting to show effort, I'll give him a 1/10. A 1/10. And that's me being very, very magnanimous. Wilfred Ndidi in midfield, understanding that he's coming back from injury, is rusty, it's not really fit. There were times where he had the ball, he stopped break play, he gave passes, he also tried to shoot even though they were wayward. So I give him a 3.5/10. Alex Iwobi, I was expecting that Alex Iwobi that played under Frank Lampard, incisive passing, good dribbling, recovery, full of running. But then it was a shift. His dreadlock was very heavy, couldn't move. It was a shift on the field. And I didn't like what I saw of him. So I'm going to give him a 2 Okay, let me be nice, a 3/10. Samuel Chukwueze had industry. He had effort, he dribbled, made some shooting. But you see the thing about a white man, the first thing you're going to be judged with. Let me explain that. There was a time when a player called Vermaelen, Thomas Vermaelen, was playing fast nine, was even the captain of the team. And he couldn't defend to save his life. But people would say, he's a center back that is scoring goals. And I said, I don't judge you, a defender, for the goals you score. That's why you have a striker and midfielders. It's their job to score goals. Your job is to defend. If you can't defend, then you're not good enough. Well, he went to Barcelona, and the rest, as to say, is history. Samuel Chukwueze's job is to provide goals for the guys up front, to create goals, to create chances for them, put the ball on the platter, and they score with ease. He couldn't do that. Did he dribble? Yes. Did he show some moves? Yes. Did he show some sparkles? Yeah. But you said the thing about a spark plug in your engine. The spark plug could spark. If the engine does not rotate well, the engine will still not start. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm going to give him a 2/10. People say that for your wicked. No, I'm not wicked. It's just a reality. Osai was my best player on Friday, and again today, my best player. Osai showed that what he can defend, and there was not going to be fault on his wing. It's a case of every man, all man for himself, God for all. And Osai held on to his position so good that it was hard for the Guineans. When they went forward, it was hard for them to get crosses through that angle. They would rather attack the center of the defense because they know that there was weakness there until Shemi Ajayi came in the second half when, thank God, Akpoguma got injured. I'm not happy that he's injured, but thank God maybe they would have scored the second goal. And so he got my 7/10. He shoot. He did what he needed to do to push the team. Uzor is still Uzor. There's never a time anybody expected Uzor to be a great guy. Yes, he had one game of a lifetime. That's the game he would talk to his children about. He's had that opportunity to talk to children, but remember, he still lost on that day. Yeah, let's not forget. Omonia Marseille versus Manchester United. He had a game. That's a game of a career. But you see, the thing that makes great player is they put up that kind of performance game in, game out on a regular basis. And then that becomes what you know them for. You don't get surprised. When he put up that performance against Man United, we were all surprised. That's why his social media blew everything, because we were all surprised. We never expected that to happen. Now, he should have gone and built on that, but unfortunately, he did not. So, Uzor, for me, I'll give him a 3/10. Yes, the only ball that came to him beat him. Akpoguma, 2/10. He was flat-footed from the first ball he got. I was sitting next to Chikenue Nelson, and I told him, I said, this guy is flat-footed. If they are going to score the goal is going to come from there. Calvin Bassey, you see this thing I've always said, and I tell my team here that I don't like a player that plays everywhere. I need to know where you play. Are you a right fullback or your left fullback? Let me know where you play. Are you a center back or a left fullback? So the thing about Calvin Bassey is he was playing with a team, a partner that he has not played with. They don't have understanding. They were going for the same ball. They were both markers, and there was no libero. So it was difficult for them to decide. And then Ifredi Dede was even not shielding them at all because it was rusty. We all know what Ifredi Dede can do. We all know how good he can play. The same way we know how Chukwueze can play and Lookman can play. But unfortunately, seems like when they enter that plane and come to Nigeria, it's not there. So overall, best player on the night of Friday was Asai, then followed by Osimhen, and then the rest are way very poor. Zaidou Sanusi, yeah, he did his own. There were times where he went forward, Lookman was not covering for him, and then there was the time where he needed to give and go, gives Lookman the ball, expect Lookman to return the pass, but that didn't happen. So that's my rating of that. I put the first blame on the coach for playing Kelechi Iheanacho instead of Terra Murphy, and then also playing Wilfred Ndidi instead of Frank Onyeka. That's where I put the blame on him. So that's that about it. If you have any opinion that is contrary to what I've said about that team, the Friday game, you can state your views and your point about it. There is no big deal about it. I'm not an island of knowledge, but that's what I saw on game day, and that's what let me read some of the messages that we have here and see, where did I even stop in the first place? Okay, so I start from Eze Patrick saying Osai Samuel is revelation of the team. Michael Eleta said the Friday match to me was, I think I've passed there. Damola Ibrahim Abiodun says, I think we play better. Chukwueze and Simon should not be starting for us. I've also passed there. And he said Osai Samuel, Iwobi, and Omero did very well today. Not forgetting Onyeka too. Noah Torin said they reacted today, but I think Osime needs to. Whoa, I think I've read all of these. Eze Patrick said, Demola Ibrahim said, our wingers are playing individual rather than playing for the team. And then Eze Patrick wanted to say, someone said, I think I passed there. So, well, Nurin Turin says some players clearly showed Osime. Okay, I read that one. I think where I start from now is Patrick Romana, brother, my friend, a good advisor of the brand, who's helped support us and give us ideas. I mean, that we're doing this night show is part of his ideas. Thank you very much for being a very good believer and supporter of this dream. Okay, he said our white men, they make Percy vessel. It's everybody. We all agree with them the way they play. As a Patrick went on, Ganatros said these exact same words about our players. Yes, I remember when Ganatros said to me that the problem with Nigerians is that we think our players are all world class, when as a matter of fact, we have probably one player on his way to being world class and playing in the midst of highly average individuals who really can play football. And then you have to do as a coach, do what you need to do to win. You cannot afford. This is what he told me. He said there is no coach that will coach these Super Eagles players that can afford to play exciting football and at the same time win. If they play exciting, they will not win. If they want to win, the game will not be exciting to the face, but they will just win. They just barely manage to survive and win. And we all thought he was lying. Well, almost 2 years since he was sacked, we've seen it. Iguain came and played exciting football, won 3 games. After that, played exciting and got knocked out of the African Cup of Nations. Tried to play exciting football against Ghana, over 2 legs, and couldn't win. That's why we didn't go to the World Cup. So it proved Ganatro to be right. That Ganatro knew what he was saying. German of Valentine said, primary school goalkeeper is far better than Francis Uzor. We only have one midfielder, which is Iwobi. Others than Lekbere. As for the wingers, they are good. What they need is discipline. Hybrid 10, he said, I did here. First time I am watching while I all right. It's because of people like you that we chose to do the evening show. People like you are very, very important to us. And knowing that you make sacrifice. Now you can afford to say, okay, I don't want to watch the morning because I know that there's an evening show. I will be awake and I will watch it. So you don't lose 1 hour of your sleep. Prime time sleep. 3 o'clock is prime time sleep. That's when angels are distributing gifts. You don't want to lose it. Okay. When did this show start? It started last week. We'll be talking about it for a while. You've not been part of it. So we're having the night show now, 1 hour, 9 to 10 every night. Hybrid says Chukwueze was completely garbage. Patrick Romana say, you didn't rate him. I did. I rate him 2 over 10, sorry. As Patrick said, I asked Ro a question on your show, and he said to rate our players, we should check the clubs they play in and compare them to top countries. It didn't pay me because I know these guys are talented. Sorry, not that I'm paying you. Sometimes I think this is it is expectation versus reality, and it happens to all of us. Let me give you guys a short story before I go to today's team list, and remind you guys with this. I'm going to shock it in with this. Okay, so on Instagram, a lot of people have also brought in some comments, and I'm going to mention it. Okay, Emmanuel Omuta _ said the problem of Osimhen was somewhat Chukwueze. Yeah, when you don't have good white men, a center forward is frustrated, but it should behave in a way that it doesn't look like he's trying to make them look bad. Okay, Olaluwa Bamidele said better performance today. Going forward, the coach should improve on his selection process. And then Emmanuel Omuta says the problem of Nigerian football is NFF. Please, can you explain that bit for me so that I understand what you're saying with that? And then he went to say, our goalkeeper is not good. Uzor is not good. Okay, thank you very much for mentioning that. But I would like you to explain to me why you said the problem of Nigerian football It's NFF, okay? So that we know. Bobby Ray 213 said Moses Simon is such a poor player. Then that guy can cross to save his life. But I remember when you guys used to attack me here for saying this thing about Moses Simon. You guys used to talk to me like I don't know anything about football. What do I know? Somebody actually asked me which ball I play, why they judge Moses Simon like that. They might not say we won at least. Yes, I agree. He said, I believe if Kenneth had played that game in Abuja, we wouldn't have lost as well. Now you guys see the same player that you guys want out of the team. It's not as bad as you think. Okay, today is his 60th game, 60th cap for Nigeria, and he marked it as captain. I won. DB Chinedu says, I want to ask, if you were the coach, how would you play based on the current strength of the present crop of the Super Eagles? First off, if I was a coach, there's something that I've worked for Nigeria before. So if I was contracted to coach the Super Eagles, I would try it. Okay, coaching is all about taking risk. Why rely on people who you think are good enough, and then they come, they make you lose your job? This is what I would have done. I would have gone to the NFF and said, listen, NFF, I need what's it called? I don't want to use the word local now. I need Nigerian league players to be in a camp with me. So I'm not going to make any team suffer. There are 20 teams in the league. If I take 1 or 2 players from each of the teams, I'm not sure the teams will really suffer that much. So I'll take about 30 players or so and beg the NFL that, look, let's put these players in camp 60 to 90 days. In 60 to 90 days, as a coach, I don't care wherever your coaching education comes from. In 90 days, you can teach anybody any skills. Actually, it takes 90 days to learn a new habit. It also takes 90 days to break any habit. If you're committed to it, if you're going to the gym, it takes 90 days for your exercise to start showing on your body. So if you're doing anything, if you're learning anything, after 90 days, you can master it. That's like the worst case scenario. It doesn't include learning how to drive or ride a bicycle or ride a power bike. We're talking about habits, we're talking about pattern, we're talking about that. So I will use them to create the fulcrum of my team, the structure of my team. And please, I agree that people say, these home-based players that cannot even play on the continent, yeah, they are playing for me. I am their coach. They are not playing under their Nigerian league coaches or their Nigerian league clubs. So they're playing for me. I'm going to put them together. Now, this is what I will now do. The friendly matches window that I have, I will now invite, say, 5 or 6 foreign-based professionals. First 45 minutes, I will put all the foreign-based professionals on the bench. Sometimes sending a message is more important than trying to reason with people. See, it's not everybody you reason with. The reason why when you are trying to be hostile to somebody with a gun, it fires a warning shot is to remind you that I have bullets in the chambers and I can kill you. When you're dead people don't talk. I can still go to court and get a good lawyer and free myself, but you're going to die if you don't respect yourself. So let's look at Pep Guardiola. Came to Manchester City, they just won the league title. His goal is to come win the league, play good football, and play his style of football and win the Champions League. He's been in the Premier League now 6 years. He's not won the Champions League. He's been in the finals once, got to semi-finals, but he's not won the Champions League. But guess what? What was the first thing they did? He cut the wings of the players, the defending champion, the players that won the league. Guess what? That season, he didn't win any title. But he let the best player of the team, Joe Hart, go. Let's got all the players that mattered in that team, he cut them off. And then he started putting his team in place. Some were not really big players, but he just got them in. You know what? You need to show who's in charge. And that's the part where a coach becomes a coach. That's what Keshi did. That's what Kevin Vestav did. And sometimes the decisions does not look good. But you see, it is better for a coach to establish dominance rather than try to reason with footballers. Footballers are like children. If you have children at home, if you're going to always negotiate with them, you will lose. They will blackmail you to a point where they can manipulate you. Children are the greatest manipulators, followed by footballers and then women. Okay? So, if I was the coach, that's what I'll do. Because the foreign-based players now know that, oh, my replacement is available. They will come here and play to the death. But knowing that there is nobody that can replace them. When Arteta came to Arsenal, Arsenal had a team that Emery had put in place that didn't have replacement for anybody. So Ozil know that he can sashay around, he can move about, he can do anything. Next game, now he knows he starts. That number 10 position is unshaked. Aubameyang knows that even though there is Lacazette, what's the other guy that was there? He is the one that will still lead. So he scores when he wants to score. Not, oh, the team needs a goal, let me key myself for the team. So what did he do? First, Aubameyang is a political player. He tried to impress the coach, help him to win the FA Cup. But then Ozil felt, hey, this one with my teammates, why play ball pass, who he be. But then you saw what he did. He shut him out. People didn't like it. After the first season, he won the FA Cup, he ended in 8th. Second season, he ended in 8th. But he established who is the boss man, who's the head nigga in charge. Go watch the movie Lean on Me, or go watch the movie Coach Carter. These things would establish certain rudimentary laws about the game. So you have to establish who's in charge. The Super Eagles, the way I see it, the players dominate the coach. The coach does not dominate the players. And that's the reason why we have the kind of problem that we have. That's one bit of it. And when I put that in place, if I am inviting you, I will call you myself. Before I send that NBAcho, the NFF to send your invite, I'll call you myself. Hello, see what I need you to come and do. Can you do it? Let's have this conversation now. I don't want you to waste your time, fly to Nigeria, and then we start having issues. This is what I need you for. This thing that I have, I need mangi and salt in certain area. I need to spice it. The fish on its own is sweet. I can either cook it as fresh fish, I can do it as roasted fish, barbecue fish, but I just need you as sauce and spice on it. Is it something you can do? If he says yes, I say, okay, come. And then I go to the NFF, I say, listen, I'm reducing your cost. You see these foreign-based professionals I am inviting, as soon as they come here, give them their refund of their flight immediately, because that empowers me. The very minute you're owing them, my power is weak. Because they're like, coach, I'm doing you a favor. I just came with my own money. So coach, guys, I'm not going to invite 20, 30 players. Just give them their money. Because, look at the Guinea that came here to beat us. How many of them are really top professionals? How many of them? So it's not that. But if I put 90 players from the Nigerian League in a camp and I coach them every day, see, let them be the biggest idiots. I will turn 30 imbeciles into players that are willing to die for me. I know that as we're playing, some of them will be going. That's why I say 30. All 30 cannot go at once. Nigeria does not transfer up to 30 players in 5 seasons of league football. So I'm not afraid, right? So once I do that, now the foreign base are now corner piece of the blocks that are coming to show up the team rather than being the centerpiece of my drawing, the masterpiece of my presentation, where everybody's looking out to them, and then they come. And let's be very honest. It costs 350 million. Let's even be economic a little bit. Let's talk economics of football. It costs 350 million to prosecute one man. We just have 2 games now. The home game and the away game. This is about 700 million. That's just gone down the drain for 3 points, right? Are you saying that if Eima or Bernard Insurance had played against Guinea, we're not going to beat them? Guinea really didn't play football. We were just not coordinated. We're just not good. We were just not, using the moment very well, occupying the pocket of space that we needed to occupy. We're just not coordinated, right? And the coach will continue to give you the same excuse. I can't train my players and pass my information to them within a space of 3 or 4 days. Camp opens on Monday, matches on Friday. On Monday, you have 13 players in camp. You can't even get them together. On Tuesday, by Wednesday, the camp is full. Thursday, then Friday, they play match. Who can coach them like that? But say you have 90 days to coach a team leading to a match. I don't care who the opposition is, I will beat them. Like at that point, I can confidently beat my chest and tell you, I will beat this opposition 2-0, 5-0, 6-0, whatever. But hey, I'm not the coach of the Super Eagles. So the question you throw to me, that's the way I would have handled the team if I was the coach of the team. Unfortunately, I am not. Who am I? Just a bloody guy who's trying to grow a business, and the business have not even grown. So who the hell am I to even have an opinion on the matter? But DBH Chinedu, that's what I would have done if I was a coach. Bobby Ray, he said that Nigeria doesn't have a single world-class player, but that doesn't mean we can't win convincingly. We need an efficient team with proper coordination and commitment. You don't need a world-class player, so you need a team to win matches. World-class player adds some spice to your team, but hey, not every day will you have a Zidane. Let's be very, very honest. The team that Argentina have used in previous World Cup in 2010, in 2014, and 2018 were all better than the team that went to Qatar. You can argue with your keeper, argue with your fact, but go look at the quality of players. Argentina have gone to a tournament before with Messi, Carlos Tevez, Gonzalo Higuain, Angel Di Maria, and the rest of them. They did not win anything. Some players came to this tournament. Before the tournament, some of you did not know their name. They don't even know where they play. They went on to the final. People can say all they want to say, oh, FIFA did it to favor Argentina. It's a lie. Oh. That team ran more than any other team. That team played some badass football that anybody has not seen. Sometimes you just, and then they took one of the most unknown coach. Come on, Scolani, come on. The end of those, was anybody expecting that guy to be the guy who will win it? And then Messi is at his work level. Since Messi announced himself to the world since 2005, this is the worst of Messi that we've seen. But guess what? Because the guys around Messi were willing to die as a group, as a unit, were willing to put their eyes for the ball and do everything. They won the Copa America and then they won the World Cup. History, 20 years' time, will not remember that Messi was scoring penalty in every round. That's your own business. That's just to judge today. History will say Argentina won their third World Cup in Qatar with Messi leading the line with some names that they would start mentioning. Okay, Tom Oriabore says Zidane went to 2002 World Cup, didn't start the first game due to injury. Okay, yes, he did. Yeah. Bobby Ray says yesterday's prize is not today's price. I agree with you. Tuko the Pundit said, Zidane, sorry. What did I press? Did I press 1 2 1? Was a press. Said Zidane went, he played the last game. I'm sorry about that one. Bobby Ray said he only played the last game. Okay, let's leave this argument to was correcting his words when he said Zidane didn't go to the World Cup, but he wasn't a key player. Okay, Tuko the pundit said Indeed isn't informed today. Frank corrected it. Right, good. Sanusi was fasting, should have been substituted in the second half. I thought so too. I thought in the second half they'll bring in Kevin Bassi to replace him because of the fast. But then, let's be very honest, players don't even feel that fast in games. I fasted and play games. I don't fast anymore, but I fasted and played quite a lot of games in the past. When you're in that game, there's something called adrenaline. It rushes you and you keep going. After the game, you could practically collapse. But while in the game, you go through it. Isaac Sachs Prof says, "Hi, Liberty. As much as Osimhen complained, he's still encouraged. Clap for other players, even when ball was overhead or ball not reaching him. Yes, but then that doesn't mean we should condone the complaint. The complaint is not good. But we say we all knew that he would be rusty, so why invite him? Well, sometimes you invite him to make him feel like, okay, now that you're not regular for your club, we have not abandoned you. Okay, that's another way of saying we still need you in the team. You're still part of it. It's not like, oh, because I didn't play again, that abandoned me kind of feeling, right? But it's not how you use him and what you say to him that really matters. Okay. Lex said Osimhen needs to cement his spot in the national team for him to have a great legacy, plus the achievement at club level. So he needs to man up and stop complaining. I don't think he needs to cement it. He's still your number one. He's still the number one striker. He's the top goal scorer in this qualifiers already. He's won the highest goal scorer in one of the qualifiers before. Doesn't need to cement. I think it's cemented his place, but he just needs to play well, okay, continuously, consistently, and then we sit down there. Why are you analyzing the Friday game when a game was played today? I think this is a place where you can log out because you came in halfway. Olaluwa Bamdele said, Osimhen also complains even at club level. I think it needs a counselor to improve his shortcomings. Okay, Wallace Van. So let's come to the squad for today. It's important that we stretch it. I mean, this conversation we've been having it since, and I'm sure that guy who asked that question is not aware of the fact that we agree that we'll have for the second to be played before I give my take on both games. Okay, so let's look at the squad for today. We're almost done. It's good to know that we're able to even have the show in the first place as agreed. So let's bring the squad to play. So some players retained their position. Say was my best player on Friday, retained his position. Chukwueze retained his position. Osima retained his position. Alexi Wobi retained his position. Zaidu Sanusi retained his position. So also did our goalkeeper number 23, who got a yellow card today alongside Kenneth Omero, retained his position. So new players who came in the starting lineup are Kenneth Omero, Shemi Ajayi, Frank Onyeka, and Terem Murphy. The rest were starters in the previous game. And, you know, Guinea also brought in 2 new players in this game. But let's not talk about that game. It was a flat out 4-2-4 again. But when you look at it on paper, it looks like a 4-4-2 formation. But I think that because of how advanced Simon and Chukwueze goes, it's actually a 4-2-4, in my opinion. You can think otherwise, because 4-4-2 and 4-2-4 are similar, are very, very close. Now, it is in the application that you can say, okay, this is a 4-2-4 or a 4-4-2. In rating the players, once again, Asai, if he didn't win that penalty, we're not where we are right now. So again, he's my man of the match, my best player of the game, and he gave a good account of himself. So again, this time I rate him is 7/10. And then I go to Semi Ajayi. It was calm, it was cool. There were times where it was a bit shaky, but it was because Onyeka also, you know, lost the ball sometimes, turnover possession. Remember when Badi took the ball off Onyeka and dragged Ajayi, and then Kasama came in and shot, but his shooting was wayward and went off. That would have been a goal in the 22nd or so minute before we got our penalty and score. I thought that Kenneth Omera also gave a good account of himself. So say is 7. I'll give Semi Ajayi is 6. I give Kenneth Omera is 7 as well, because not only was he able to play well in the center of the defense, he also led the team. He also get them to regroup when they needed to regroup. Zaidu Sanusi played better today than he did on Friday, so I put him on a 5. Moses Simon started, was substituted, scored the penalty. You know, for scoring the penalty, whether you like it or not, people have played penalty and lost it. So I will give him a 6. His overall contribution in this game today was better than his contribution on Friday. Alex Iwobi, on the other hand, still does look lost. You see that thing that he used to do, that I say he plays like he's absent-minded. Maybe is better when you have 2 defensive midfielders behind him, because sometimes it is also down to the people you put around the player that brings out the best or the worst in them. So I think maybe Alex Iwobi does better if you put 2 defensive midfielders behind him, and he gets that guarantee that, okay, even if I lose the ball, there are 2 people that will checkmate the opposition before they will get to my center back, so I can play. So there's a bit of confidence in that. Maybe, just maybe, this is me creating that kind of permutation and also giving him the allowance, the freedom to make mistakes, right? But I still think that he didn't command that midfield. Like, for instance, if Mikel will control midfield, and Olise will control midfield, and somebody said, you didn't mention Okosha. Yes, I did not. It's deliberate. But he didn't do that. So I'm struggling to place him there, because I needed him to be the guy who lead the orchestra, a Fabregas kind of, like, he determines what goes on. You saw Madison when he played for England yesterday also. You see how he controlled that midfield. There's already talk of putting Messiman to the bench and making Madison the guy who plays behind the strikers in England. So you want to see that kind of play from Alex Iwobi. Sometimes he struggled to find the pocket of space. Sometimes he struggled to tread the ball, which is normal, his trademark. So I could give him a 5 in this game because we won. You know, we won and we didn't concede a goal. So I could give him a 5. Terem Murphy was a battling ram. I think that there was a better understanding between him and Osimhen than we had Kelechi and Osimhen. Kelechi didn't have any understanding with anybody anyway. So for that, I'll give him a 5 as well. Osimhen, I think I'll give Osimhen a 4 in this one. And people say I'm harsh. No, I'm not. I give him a 4 because there was a chance where it was true at goal the player was still about 4 meters away. I mean, at his level, he should be calm in the 18-yard box. He just shot the ball wayward. That would have been goal number 2. So that's a minus on him because it's at a level now where I expect way more. Maybe 2019, 2020, I would say, oh, he tried. But at this stage now, I expect way more because if he goes to England and play like this, they'll rate him 1/10. So that's why I'm rating him like that. Chukwueze tried some things that, if those things are pulled through, like the NASA ball, the side of the foot pass that he tried to do, but I guess the front of his boot now hit it, it went to the goalkeeper, tried some things that makes me say, okay, this guy's kind of like feeling himself. It's kind of like feeling his confidence, kind of feeling like, I can do this, I can do that. But they didn't click. And then our players, our white players, again, I go back to what I said about them on Friday, don't know the difference between crossing from the far side of the pitch and crossing from the 18-yard box. When you're in the 18-yard box, it's a simple logic. Cut the ball or play the ball along the ground and hope to God that your teammate will run and jam the ball into the net. To be crossing the ball inside the 18, remember, the ball always takes flight for 5 meters. So if you cross the ball at the edge of the 18, if you take flight for 5 meters, the ball has already crossed the center of the goalpost. So even if it's going to drop, it's still going to drop outside of the 18-yard box. You've wasted the cross, as far as I'm concerned. But if you cut back, somebody who's coming, either they shoot, it deflects into the net, or they shoot and somebody deflects into corner kick, it's still an attacking advantage for you. I think that's something that now the coach have to sit with them, get them to watch the clip. Unfortunately, I don't think that the Eagles watch that clip. Get them to watch the clip and say, listen, this is what your mistakes. I'm not here to blame you, but I'm here to coach you. And for me, when you play for me, this is what I need you to do. When you are at this place, when I played on that Sinclair, he always gave those instructions. When you are at this part of the field, I need you to lift the ball. But once you get to this place, don't lift my ball. The highest you can take it is chest level, which is the hardest ball to control. When you cross the ball chest level with a spin to it, it is hard. You try to control that ball, you control it into your net. Your teammates, all they need to do is just run on the ball, and the ball is in the net. These are information that players need to have going into the game. But I expect that a professional at this level who plays in a beautiful league where ball appreciation is well appreciated should already know that. But that doesn't happen. Again, the French league is also a league where they do a lot of ball work, ball appreciation, and ball distribution. Unfortunately, Simon crosses the worst I've ever seen from any white player. This is not me taking on them like, trying to run them down. But this is my observation from the game. If you have something contrary, you should say. But like I said, we won today, so today is better. Onyeka brought some stability, some steel, and grit into that midfield. Not better than what a fit and informed Wilfred they will bring. But then again, it begs the question, what do we need going forward? We need a goalkeeper. People, see, I don't care what anybody says, Uzor cannot win you a Nations Cup. So if we're thinking of qualifying for the Nations Cup and going to win it, that we can't do it with Uzor. It is not possible. We're not going to get there. We're seeing some strength in our centre back. I don't think Akpoguma and Kevin Bassi are the pair that we need. We still need some people in our midfield. And there is a midfielder in Belgium. What's his name now? Onyedika. I think we need Onyedika in our team. Would he fit in? How would we know if we don't invite him? So let him come in. We need a goalkeeper. I don't know where that goalkeeper is going to come from, but like I said before, if I was the coach of the team, I would put local players in the team. Sorry for using the word local player. Nigerian-based players in the team because I now need a goalkeeper, and Nigeria does not really have a top-class goalkeeper out there in Europe anywhere. We don't have an Onana, we don't have an Edward Mendy. We just have Uzor and one guy who's confused, who thinks maybe he should be a model instead of a goalkeeper, Maduka Okoye. I want that guy. So I would really focus on it, or probably go back and bring Akpeyi, or focus on the local league and make sure the Nigerian league and make sure I bring in players who I would build their confidence to the point where they can represent Nigeria properly. Because what we're doing here is thinking, assuming that we have world-class players. The other day I put the Nigerian players on spreadsheet and I said somebody should identify 5 world-class players in the team, and he could not pick more than Victor Osimhen. And I said to him that as much as I love Victor Osimhen with all the things that he's doing, it still doesn't fit into that cap of a world-class player. You can't rate Victor Osimhen over Harry Kane, can you? Over Haaland, can you? Even Marcus Rashford, let's be very, very honest. If you put the record, the statistics on ground, Victor Osimhen does not match Marcus Rashford in any way. And I could go on and on and on and on and on and picking players. So it's at the door, but it's not in the room yet. It doesn't have a seat on the table yet. But then you take him away, all the rest are pretty much just average. So what we now need is a system that binds this whole bunch of average players together to make them feel strong as a unit, so we don't exploit any weakness in any of them. That's the job of the coach. Unfortunately, he doesn't have all the time in this world to do it. And that's why I don't blame the coach that much. But if the NFF can say, okay, this one you have 3 more months to go. I'm not sure we're playing any game in 3 months' time. You have 3 more months to go. We're going to take 2 decisions. One, we're either going to keep you, or we're going to say thank you very much and come from the back door of, we can't continue with you because we can't pay you. We're still owing you. We've not paid you a dime since you started this job. We're owing you. We're going to pay, but we're going to cut our clothes according to us, our clothes or according to our materials. It means that we're going to reshuffle this pack and decide a program. Now, this is where your technical director have to come in. Unfortunately, the technical director of the Nigerian Football Federation is also Senegal. The funny thing about that is, as good as he might be, whatever suggestion he gives, people will always remind him, you're this good, now you go to Nations Cup, you don't do anything. You're this good, now you don't qualify for World Cup. So, not a good one to say, but I would make him focus on the junior teams and then bring in another set of coaches that will come work with the Super Eagles with a clear instruction on focus on the domestic league, and then the Euro players become a backup. If they don't want to come, let them go. That's my take on it anyway. If you have anything to say on that, let me hear you. I think I could afford a bit more extra minutes and time because of the fact that we had to put 2 games together. Normally, it's supposed to be 1 game. We had to put 2 games together as agreed on. So, having said that, where did I stop? On Instagram, Wallace Villa say, just exactly or similar to what Keshi done leading up to 2013 AFCON. Yes, you're right. Olalu Abamdele say, Iwobi's rating is 3. It's slow for the first leg. I would give him a 5. That's you, considering he covered for both in the our defenders and trying to make link-up play in the first game. All other ratings are okay. Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. Okay. Who else? I have something to say. Adam Williams says, I love the movies you mentioned. Thank you very much. Where did I stop on Instagram? I think I finished all the comments on Instagram. Creator Dali said, I think we should try Amunike since we can't afford the great guys. Hopefully, my thing with Amunike is that his last coaching jobs have not also come out good. Failed to qualify at under 17, went to Tanzania, or went somewhere else again. So I really don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to suggest any coach before they say I'm marketing a coach, but I would just observe and watch. There is a man who's elected to run the Nigerian football. He should do his job. That's what I would say on that front. Let me read the final messages that came in on YouTube. Please, on Instagram, don't send any message again. Done. We're trying to wrap up now. We've got 5 + 2, 7 more minutes to end it. Extra 15 minutes on the show. As the Patrick say, they paid me because I know these guys are talented. That's the last one. Michael Letter say, bros, can't we get good midfielders from the MPFA? We can. I've explained what can be done. Hassan Agada is cutlass in my language. He said, but why is it that African cameras are always bad? I can't view the match very clear. It's not African cameras that are bad. I don't know. I can't explain that, but it's one of those things. It's called value. So you have to understand location, and in Europe, all the equipment are in every stadium, so it's plug and play. In Africa, you have to move equipment, and sometimes you consider the safety of your equipment, and you say to yourself, Am I going to risk this? So let me give you a very good example. The same company that did the Nigerian versus Guinea game in Abuja is the same company that did the Eibar versus Benel Insurance game. But you look at the equipment that they deployed for the Nigerian versus Guinea game as against the equipment that they deployed for the Eibar versus Benel Insurance. So you see, it's about value, it's about money. How much are you paying me? You can't be paying me for Keke Napep. I expect the service of a Ferrari. It's just what it is. I'm into production, so I know this offer. Like, I know that this is the challenges that people face. Nobody's going to run their OB van or fly their equipment and crew for a job that you're not paying. You know, when they finish, they would not be in debt. So they rather give you what your money can cover. Because in business also, you don't say no to money because you have to pay bills and cover some overhead. There's always something that will come from the left-hand side to cover the right-hand side, and then everything will make up the total bottom line at the end of the day. Okay, Chika Ayalogu says, we are 61 on the live show. Sure, I'm so glad. We're 71 now anyway. I Brittany says, Osimhen didn't play well in that field. I think you were too nice in your grading of him. Moses Simon must improve. Still can't cross. Okay, thank you very much for that. Asan Agada said, this coach has no discipline. How do you know? Theophilus Akime says, bro, our wingers, especially Chukwueze, needs talking to, or better still, having benched. Okay, we need wingers that need precision passes. They made Osimhen look bad. Oyeka is a breath of fresh air. Yes, it's got some serious working in it. Noah Turing said, I thought Iwobi was not as bad as a lot of them in the first leg. Well, he was dropping too deep, and it was part of the reason why the Guinean team had a press. It also was part of the reason why Osimhen was lonely. So I could look at it from a tactical angle, and I said he displaced his own position because he was supposed to be playing as an offensive midfielder, not as a defensive midfielder. And so that's why I can't afford to rate him as high as you guys want me to rate him anyway. Noetari said, I also noticed just how bad the wide men are with crosses. Like, it's beyond bad. It's a joke. Literally, Moses Simon crossed a ball from inside the 18-yard box, and the ball went out of throwing. That's Moses. But you know, I've been saying this thing about Moses Simon. At some point, people said I hate him. People have accused me of so many things about Moses Simon. I'm just, happy to watch you guys see him do the thing that he's doing now. Anthony Addy says, same risk Keshi took leading up to the 2013 win. Unfortunate, it did work out for 2014 World Cup. What did not work out? It worked out for 2014 World Cup. What happened was that in 2014 World Cup, what Keshi did was to undo the good that he did in 2013. Because he now went and go and bring in Shola Amiobi for Sondumba, and the same guy who told him that the team he had put together was not good enough, Osaze Adewenge, who turned his back on him, he took him and dropped Brandon Day. That's the reason why we went to the World Cup. And even at that, we achieved the best result that Nigeria has ever achieved before we went to round of 16. So not a big deal. I've forgotten that they didn't give them their money until they went on strike. I mean, who goes to the World Cup and go on strike? They went on strike. And then Jonathan has to load money in a cargo flight. We took the money there and we had to pay tax. Jesus Christ. I don't even want to think about that because thinking about it just hurt me. We had to pay tax for money that we could have paid here, their qualification bonus that we could have paid here, nobody. Money that we don't have, we went to go and pay Brazil for shipping money into their country like that. It is what it is. Okay? Every time, and if I swear, you can go to Bibles. Noah Torini say, dead men tell no tales. Just a quote from Pirates of the Caribbean to support your point earlier. Thank you very much, man. Isaac, hey, I can't believe how you doing. APC is winning, and the show herself will beat it cut. I don't even follow Nigerian football anymore. Really? Chika Ayalogu say, it's a Patrick fact. So I am just so proud and happy for Elegbete. We go still find way banter ourselves. It's always a way. Olawumi Okonola said our wingers are inverted wingers. They can't cross the ball. Inverted winger is a cross ball. I remember not the cross ball. It's I remember not inverted winger. We want to make excuses. People will make excuses, but these excuses are not even worth it in the first place. Okay? To me, that is someone said, when the banter will start, it's not banter today. And when we talk European football, I banter the sweet. If he did, we say, We need to start selecting from Nigerian Football Club. Patrick Roman has said Algeria and Niger game today. They stopped the game in the second half to break their fast, and after which they continued the game. It was quite interesting to me. Yeah, I watched that. I saw that game. So I was watching it on the other on my laptop screen. And for me, okay, so for me as a football player, I think if you stop a game and I go and eat, I might not be able to. I will lose momentum. I don't know, but I don't know. I just think more will finish this game, more will get this thing going. What's with the shopping? After all, for halftime, they give a banana. Two banana can last you for 90 minutes. Let's be very honest. Two banana will last you for 45, give you energy for 45 minutes. So I think it's just needless drama, man. Now, but today people started the fast. It's just needless drama. In my opinion, no, I might be wrong, but in my opinion, that's just needless drama. Aniobiaya will say the Sima is not even getting past. Please, nobody should blame him. To me, that is how I say nobody should blame Osimhen because no single pass to him at all. Okay, I agree with you. Divide, okay, Chai, I came late. I'll have to listen from the beginning again. And then Divide again say, God bless you. Uzo should disappear. John Jones, Ato Kokwo can play as a goalkeeper. Yes, somebody mentioned that name to me a couple of days ago. I've not watched him, but somebody, rate him, and the person I respect his opinion. And so I think I have to check him out. Patrick Ramona says Aribo was a bit shaking when he came in, but the guy get fight for Bodio. Yes, he does. Uchechukwu Iriogbu say, what about the coach that did well in Croatia? Which coach is that? Eze Patrick, you say the streaming of the Eibar game was really good, though I enjoyed it. Okay, CEO say, why not play Chukwueze on the left wing since he can't make crosses without his right leg? The right, okay, finally said there is a Tosin Kehinde we should look at as far as our wing play is concerned. Eze Patrick say, remember when we used to be few and we had time to banter ourselves? These days, 1 hour is not enough for the show anymore. Growth. Yes, growth comes with a lot of displacement and inconvenience. Okay, Divide okay say former Nigerian defender that coached a side in Europe. He lost his job the next season and he's not gotten a job since. So it will be hard. Let me say Agbo, that's the guy you're talking about. John Joe say we need to try some of the Benin Arsenal boys like Imade and Wanchuku Divine. Right at this point, Lushala Bamidele said nobody should blame Victor Osimhen. Thank you very much. An extra 17 minutes have been added to the show. The show have come to stay. That's all I can say. Show have come to stay. We've done well first day, the night was. Thank you very much, everyone, for being part of the show, for your kindness and your goodness. Please, if you've not subscribed to the channel, do well to subscribe, help us to grow. That's the reason why we're making all the sacrifice and all the effort to make sure we get you the morning show and the evening show. We'll be back again here tomorrow, first in the morning, and we'll talk about matches that went down in Europe, the qualifiers, all the talking point about the Everton facing point deduction because of inappropriate accounting. Arsenal having 10 finals to play, who are the possible player. Now we'll start talking about the possible transfer players in the conversations. Who's going to make the top four? You can't have the banter in the morning. Liverpool, will they make the top four as it is? Antonio Conte is gone. We talked about it this morning, but we could still talk about Spurs. Will Spurs make the top four? I just think that this guy will make Spurs look a bit better anyway. But let's see how it goes. Tomorrow, we'll do this again in the morning and in the evening. Thank you very much for your time. God bless you. My name is Idafi Matthias. You'll have to come in the elevator one of sports. I've had fun doing the sports buffet in the morning and the night wheels in the evening. Have a wonderful night rest. Bye-bye.